Hello, everyone. All right, we're going to go ahead and this begins we're starting a little bit early, but this is our meeting of the NAACP for the month of December 2021. We're going to go ahead and open up with a word of prayer, Sister Dunkley, if you don't mind.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come, Father God, just to say thank you, Lord God, for another day. Thank you, Father God, for keeping us, Father God. Oh God, as we prepare to go into this meeting, Father God, let everything be said decent and in order. Oh Father God, that we may hear what thus saith the Lord, and also listen to our president as he speaks, Father God. Let everything be decent and in order. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sister Dunkley. Madam Secretary, we're going to go ahead with this real quick. I'm sorry, Laverne Langhorne. Hey, Sister Langhorne, let me get you out of here for a second.
Hello, how you doing? Good to see everyone.
We got to pull you out, and so you can we got you in too early. We're going to start for general membership at 7. So if you can come back
okay.
in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Work, okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Did she go off? Okay, she went off. Yeah. Okay, she's removed. Did everyone get a chance to look at the nominations for the national board seats? All right. Any questions about it? James, I think you had a motion from yesterday.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
I move to, I keep hearing an echo.
No, I hear you.
Okay. I move that the slate of 7 nominees for the national board be presented to the general membership for a vote.
Looking for a second.
I second.
All right, it's been probably moved by Mr. Younger and second by Mr. Dunkley that the 7 members that were identified for at-large positions be moved to the general membership for a vote. Calling for the questions. Calling for the questions. Calling for the questions. There being none, I'll vote by our sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? It's all right. It's a unanimous vote. I'm gonna close it down. Thank you very much. So you can just stand by until 7 if y'all want, because we're not starting anytime soon. 10 minutes. Hey, Wanda, Madam Secretary, those minutes, do you have them? Can you put them as an attachment?
I'm sorry, the minutes.
Well, that package that you were asking about the general, yeah, is there a way to make those an attachment on the chat file?
Okay, I believe so.
Okay. Marvin, you say there was a Teams link at the bottom. I think that was an old email, man.
Yeah, it could be. that other Marvin, that's my daughter. Change your name, please.
Do what? Oh, which other one on here?
You see, it's 2 Marvins in there.
Yeah, okay.
That's my oldest daughter.
What do you want that name changed to, Marvin?
I'm going to change my name to Marvin too. We should all change our names to Marvin.
I can't start with y'all. Y'all already starting.
Come on.
We have some people on the call already, so we're gonna wait. Marvin, what should you rename that other person as?
Janae.
Who?
Genae.
That?
Genae.
Oh, AE.
Yeah, nails.
That?
Perfect.
Hey, by the way, they at 6:45 they took the vote of the candidates. Anyone have questions about the candidates? If so, you can open it up during general membership, but there was no objections to the 7 candidates. Okay. So we're gonna start in 8 minutes, y'all. I think we did what we had to do. Wanda, did you find that, were you able to post that link, those documents?
I am doing that now. I'm in the process.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. First Vice President. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, sir. How about yourself?
It's good.
Good evening, everyone.
It's good to see you again, Mr. Carter. And the next time you show up to my house unannounced, I'm going to put my Maltese on you, okay?
Well, I told you I stopped by earlier. I wanted to figure out how I can get a nice background like you have.
I'm sure Keller Realty has a few of those in storeway somewhere, probably in the digital room, just ask around. All right, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Julius, President of Arlington Branch NAACP here in Arlington, Virginia, 7047B. We started our meeting actually a little bit early with the executive committee right at 6:45. We've already said the opening prayer. I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so there's a copy of today's agenda that is actually in the chat for everyone to pull up and look at their leisure. Tonight's meeting will be rather, I think, smooth, fast. This is our last meeting of the year. What's going to happen is our members, the committees, our presidents are going to give some updates and about what some of the things that have transpired over the year, this past year. And the reports as well have been included with tonight's meeting. With that being said, I will ask for a motion to suspend normal rules so we can go through this agenda. I will accept the motion and then we'll move right into the roll call.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend the rules. This is third VP.
Thank you.
Second.
I second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second that we suspend the rules and accept the agenda set forth for today's meeting. Calling for the questions. Calling for the questions. Calling for the questions. There being none, all in favor by saying aye.
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 All opposed have the same right. Ayes have it, motion carried. Okay, we're gonna go into our treasurer report. Our financial report. Is the treasurer on?
He's joining.
Okay. Mr. Treasurer, are you here? Mr. Treasurer?
Shows that he's still joining. He may have some IT problems.
All right, we'll come back to him. I'll pull something up here. We'll wait for Roy because I want to kind of stay with this here. Roy, has he joined us yet?
Still showing joining.
All right, I'll go ahead and start with my remarks. And then as Roy is joining, I will just say a few things. And then we'll go back to Roy and get back on the agenda, right, with at-large candidates. And Madam Secretary, if you don't mind, I think individuals that are joining the call right now may not have the minutes, so we'll just continue to add that as an attachment. Year review, we have had an outstanding year at the Arlington branch of the NAACP. Make no mistake about it. I think the Virginia State Conference of the NAACP has had a very good year. The executive committee met last night for about 2.5 hours. And we had a great discussion, and the committee chairs share with the executive committee not only some of the challenges, but a lot of the accomplishments of over the year. And anyone who has been following this branch of the NAACP closely perhaps has noticed that we have been involved in many fronts. So whether that's education, criminal justice, environmental climate justice, housing, political action committee, economic development, those core areas, and many more. We have just been heavily involved. And I'm going to say it's only because of the leaders that you see on this call, many of whom you've seen in many of your circles in our community, whether it's been at the county board, whether it's been at commissions, whether it's been at school board. It's only because of them that we've been able to have this level of success. So before we go in and I say a few things, I want to give all the members, the chairs, we should all give them a round of applause, please. Virtual round of applause. Last night, our third VP kind of talked to a few things. I'm not one to, list all these accomplishments down. And I think what we intend and what we need to do and give to our membership is compile, right? Maybe a small booklet of sort of something to share with our membership about all the accomplishments that we have done in 2021. A lot of you know these things because of the press or because of statements we've made, but whether it's working diligently with others on the whole Lee Highway, Langston Boulevard change, the initiation and of challenging current systems of the SROs, which started with our education committee a couple years ago. We saw that through to the end, all right, and now SROs are no longer in the schools. Community Oversight Board, which was first deemed Civilian Oversight Board, but we challenged the system, we challenged our county, even after they got permission in the General Assembly. We needed some tweaks there, some more levels of accountability, and there's more work to be done, but we now have a Civilian Community Oversight Board. The logo in and of itself, people say it's the logo, it's the flag, which is emblematic of who we are, right? What we represent. That is being changed, that has been changed. Many folks at the beginning, what I recall, they didn't think much of it. They said, well, we are here where we are, we're where we at today because of individuals like you, because the past logo, and I think it's still flying, is not a depiction of the Arlington of today. In no way, shape, or form does a plantation house or symbol is reflective of Arlington. So we've moved on, and that logo has been changed. We have you'll hear from our scholarship committee later on about the enormous work they've done with our scholars. You'll also hear from our housing committee about the Serrano apartments and our involvement in those areas, whereby, we're at a point now where many didn't think we were going to be, and those families are in a better place today than where they were at the beginning of the year, because I believe the activism and engagement of the NAACP. Make no mistake about it. It wasn't until the NAACP showed up in April of 2021 did the train leave the station. And look at where we at today. We've challenged developers, we challenge housing officials, we challenge elected officials to do the right thing on behalf of our citizens, because that's what they're paid to do. And they've done that. Each of us in the leadership team have had conversations with our elected leaders on a number of areas of things going on in our community, i.e., let's go back to criminal justice in the jail system, right? We are challenging that some process and procedures there, and we believe still today that more needs to be done and that people need to be held accountable. I don't think, and I said this before publicly, I do not believe that accountability stops on someone making bad scribble marks or whatever on a record, right? It's a systemic issue. And we got to root out those systemic issues and those problems, because we've had 6 deaths at the jailhouse in 6 years. Yet everyone tells us a better day will come. Nope. You had your chance. So we're going to continue to challenge that system and those processes and those procedures and see what happens. Because as I said before, no person, no citizen should die in the custody of law enforcement. To do so is uncivilized. Make no mistake about it. So we've done a lot, right? And this is not, again, this is not about one person. This is about an organization, my friends, that have been around since 1909. We are just here in this moment, at this time, to do our work, to be out there on the front of civil rights and social justice, and to hold those accountable who are in charge. And I had to remind the executive committee last night that, make no mistake about it, that there's individuals, there's parties out there that will try and come and divide the NAACP and conquer the NAACP and separate us from our mission. And that will not happen. That will not happen. So, it's when you challenge a system of oppression, when you challenge a system that for so long has brought, let's just say, things in the people's livelihoods that shouldn't be there and should have been eradicated a long time ago, it's uncomfortable. So we've been having some very uncomfortable conversations in the community. We've been having some courageous conversations in the community. And I take my job, I take my position of leadership quite seriously, because none of us get paid for what we do. We do it because we're passionate about racial discrimination, equity, civil rights, social justice. We are passionate about that. And so, I'm going to conclude my few remarks before we can move over to the treasurer and just say, this year, 2021, has been one for the record books for our branch, but there's a lot of work to be done. There's still work to be done. And we need all hands on deck. Our membership, I shared with the executive committee last night, we started out the year 735 members in January. We're now at 960 something. So we have about 40 some odd folks to get to that 1,000. The goal was 1,000 this year. But it's one thing, my friends, to pay $30 and be a member of the NAACP or to take on and have a life membership. It's another thing to really embody and believe in the mission and objectives of the NAACP. See? And that's what I ask anyone who's a part of this, whether it's an organization or whether it's just a member. Why are you here? Why are you in this space? Are you here to do the work? Are you here to support us? Because our work, a lot of times, shakes up foundations, shakes up systems. Okay? And if you're not willing to shake it up and agitate, then the NAACP, my friends, may not be your cup of tea. All right? So we're going to stay on this battlefield for social justice until I'm out of the seat or someone removes me, which goes all the way through December of next year. Because this is my 4th year, going on the 4th year as president. And it's been a pleasure. We haven't always had good days as leaders in your branch, but we find a way to either compromise with each other and move forward on behalf of our membership in this community. So with that, I want to thank you for your support over the year. And I'm going to turn it over to our treasurer, who will be given our financial report. Roy, are you on now? And are you ready?
He has
Roy?
he has not reconnected.
Okay. All right. So he needs to reconnect and we'll come back to him because he just submitted his report a short time ago. Let's go with, so we do have something, Madam Secretary, you want to talk through the at-large piece, the membership of the at-large positions for national, and then I'll say something more about that.
Yes, there is an election that's to take place during today's general membership meeting, and it's for an at-large candidate to the national board. There are 7 candidates who are running for this position, and there are 7 slots to fill for this position. There's also a regional candidate to the national board, and there is 1 person running for this position, and there's 1 slot for the position. So prior to the general membership meeting, the executive committee met and had an opportunity to go over the bios of the candidates and voted on the candidates. And now it's time for the president to present the 7 candidates as well as the regional candidate to the membership.
Sure. Well, that's it. So again, these candidates, there are no, the executive committee did receive the names and bios of the individuals. Those names and bios were also shared with you as you see in your chat. They were also shared with the executive committee. Like I said, we voted on it. These individuals are running for positions or at large. Per NAACP bylaws, the executive committee is to take those names to the general membership to be voted on at the general membership. I will tell you, in my role as president and as executive committee, we voted. And ultimately, we have to turn this over to the membership for you to vote. So with that being said, I'm going to call for a vote to accept and move the names of the individuals so listed up to national as our branch, for our branch to recommend. Our branch has one person making the vote via election buddy, and that is the secretary. And so with that, I'm going to call for the vote.
Could I ask a question as,
Yeah.
is everyone a voting is every
No,
member?
only active members can vote.
Is that if your membership is up to date?
Your membership up to date, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So what I'm going to ask for you to do in this case, because we don't have it set up in this in the chat box, what I want you to do, you can either put yay, nay, or abstain. All right, and what we'll do is we'll go back and we can verify from the names to the report who's active members or not. If you're an active member, you vote yay, put that in the chat box. If you vote nay, put it in the chat box. If you're on this call and you're not an active member, you can abstain, and we will validate those names on the backside and share the results with you. Okay, all it takes is a majority. All right, so with that being said, all those in favor, go ahead and put yay. All those opposed can put nay. If you're not a member, you choose not to vote, you can abstain. And the secretary will pull these down in the chat feature after the meeting and count them. And please excuse us for not having the setup for the typical vote piece. We didn't get around to doing that this time. The voting feature, excuse me. We're gonna let that go for probably another 30 seconds, and then we're gonna move on with the agenda. We're right on time. Roy, is Roy here yet? Madam Secretary?
No, not yet.
He was on, I saw him a few minutes ago. Okay. All right, hopefully everyone has voted. We will count those votes. And Madam Secretary, if you have a time to count the chats and verify while we're on the call, and we can give a number by the time we close out, so be it. If not, we do have a report. We can pull a report of everyone on this call tonight, and we will reply back to everyone who was on this call of what the votes were. All right, we're going to move on to, since Roy's not here, we do have a copy of his report, and this is the, I think this is the treasurer's report. I'm gonna give Roy a few minutes because I want him to give his own report, him or the assistant treasurer. All right, we're gonna go with our first VP. First VP, do you have any remarks for our last meeting of the year?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys so much for attending tonight. I know that it's been a long year, and I just want to say that I'm so honored and humbled to be able to serve you guys as one of your VPs and one of your members and be able to work on committees. Like the president spoke about, I hope that each and every one of you all are, extremely proud to be a part of this organization. I mean, we have grown leaps and bounds over the year in not only membership, but I think effectiveness, that, the different initiatives that we've taken on. And I think once you all, receive the report, probably next month sometime, or maybe later this year, on all the accomplishments that the various committees have accomplished during this year, that you guys will really be surprised and proud. I'm very appreciative of all the committee leaders that have stepped up this year and continued the work. Because I mean, look, it's been a long year, professionally and personally for a lot of us. I don't even want to try to account for the Zoom calls, the telephone calls, the meetings that we have all done in the various aspects of this community as volunteers. You know, a lot of us have full-time jobs and families and everything like that. So again, just so grateful for everyone that stepped up. We've had several great events, and this year as well, you know, the Freedom Fund Banquet and everything was a huge success. So again, just very, very gracious and humbled to be a part of this organization, and can't thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Going forward, you know, into next year, you know, hopefully we all get a little bit of rest and relaxation during the holidays. I wish you all a very, very happy holidays. Spend some time with your family. Hopefully you get a little bit of a break from your full-time jobs and get recharged for next year. Because like the president said, you know, we want to continue to be effective and hold our leaders in our community accountable and help move forward, you know, in a direction that's better for all of us, our entire community. So again, thank you all. Thank all the elected leaders once again, all the members that have stepped up and joined, and looking forward to meet you guys, you know, depending on how it goes next year with in-person events and everything like that. Normally, this last meeting of the year, we would be having a holiday party, excuse me, at our last meeting, you know, where we could share, you know, cookies and drinks and all that stuff and bring our families out. So it's unfortunate that we're missing it this year, but again, look forward to meeting you all in person in the coming year. So with that, thank you very much, Mr. President. I yield back.
Yeah, thank you for your service, Mr. President, first Vice President, and we really appreciate you. You know, we look back and know that you sat on that PPG board for about 7 months, and it wasn't easy. You along with a few other folks, but we thank you for your dedication, your commitment to serve over the past year and several years. Over to the second VP.
Good evening, everyone. I don't think I have much to add to what JD and Kent have said so far, but I definitely want to extend my thanks to the committees and to our members. We have been firing on all cylinders for quite some time, and it's fairly intense. But I am, you know, just so pleased and so excited about the work that we are doing and that we've undertaken over the past year. I believe that our committee members have shown an incredible commitment to this cause and to ensuring that the lives and the experiences of minority people, Black and other minority groups in Arlington is improving. And I think that, you know, as we look at the trend line, we'll see that things are actually getting better, and they're getting better because of the hard work of, you know, the people here in this chapter and the relationships that we have with others who are also committed to these similar causes. Like JD said, there's a lot more to be done. We are going into an uncertain political environment now that we have, you know, basically, you know, a group in control at this point that, you know, heretofore we're just not sure what they're going to turn out to do. So we have to get prepared for whatever may be coming down the pike, but we will be ready. You know, we will make sure that our communities are as safe as we can make them and that their rights are protected. I don't think I have anything more than that, but it is a pleasure to serve, and I'm grateful to be here. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you, Madam Second VP, for your service. And as I said last night, you know, we are very appreciative of your work and willingness. Not only does Cherie step up and fill a role as our second VP, she's also a co-chair of our education committee. Many of you know that. And, you know, if there's one thing I admire the most about Cherie is her zeal and her passion, and also her level of intellect. And if you sit down and you have a conversation with Cherie and you don't have your ducks in a line in about 5 minutes, you're gonna get thrown to the wolves. And I like that. So that tells me, and I know that when Cherie's out there representing the branch, that if you don't pass the sniff test, it ain't gonna happen. So we really appreciate what she's been doing in her roles and her activism in the community, because she too, right? She's a mother, she's a parent, she has school-age children like many of us, and this is not easy work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Over to our third VP, Mike Hemminger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd also just like to lift up what you said, what our first vice president said, and also, of course, what the second VP said. I got a quick statement, prepared statement that I'd like to read. So you might be wondering, like, who is the NAACP? We are the home of grassroots activism for civil rights and social justice. We have more than 2,200 units across the nation, powered by over 2 million activists. In our cities, schools, companies, and courtrooms, we are the legacy of W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, Thurgood Marshall, and many other giants of civil rights. Our mission is to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of all persons to eliminate race-based discrimination. Our vision is to ensure a society in which all individuals have equal rights and there is no racial hatred or racial discrimination. Like our president mentioned, we will not rest until we accomplish this. We are done dying and we will not be moved. Tonight, you will hear about the extraordinary work that we have accomplished this year. And as our president likes to say, make no mistake about it, thousands of our neighbors have been impacted for the better because of the work of this branch. We are one team and we are with one powerful dream. I could not be more proud of this incredible group of community leaders. And with that said, I'd like to invite everyone on this call and those that will watch later to please join us or check to ensure that your membership is current. I'm going to drop a link in the chat to fill out a membership form online. Note that we're branch 7047, Arlington. And with that, Mr. President, I'll kick it back over to you. Thank you.
All right, all right, Mr. Okay, Big Mike. All right, I'll give you a round of applause. That was a great speech, bro. Hey, you know, if you cannot feel the passion coming out of Mike, and you didn't get a little touch of that, then maybe again you don't need to be at the NAACP, because I felt it. It's authentic, it's genuine, and he's real, right? Again, all of us take this what we do quite seriously, because the lives of so many others in our community depend on us, and not just the NAACP, other like-minded organizations. All right. So thank you, Mr. Third VP, for your work and again, your zeal and your passion and helping out more especially in the criminal justice and housing committee in your role. So it's really been a pleasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thanks for throwing that chat out there about joining the NAACP and checking your memberships. Okay, we're going to move to our executive committee at large members, because each one of them, as you know, are elected members of the committee of the NAACP and sit on your executive committee. So in each one of their roles, they do certain things throughout the year based upon the will and pleasure of the executive committee or myself asking them, and they've been doing a really good job. So with that being said, I'm going to start it off with Ms. Karen Nightengale, our past president, if she has any words to bring at this last meeting of 2022.
Thank you, Mr. President. I apologize for not turning on the camera. I'm actually at the church working tonight, but I do want to say that the year has been great, that we have accomplished a lot of things, and moving forward, I know 2022, we will make more strides as we move forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, past president and executive member Karen Nightengale. Real quick, I'll give Karen a shout out. Karen and I have been here again. How many years, Karen? I don't know. Y'all recruited me.
Over 10 or 12, sir.
Yeah, so yeah, back in the day we've come a long way. And a lot of times we had to get kicked in the butt. And I share this story sometimes with a few folks. I remember sitting at Walter Reed Community Center, one day, and I remember Cherie came to the meeting and she sat down in that room. And at the time I was trying to, push Cherie, say, come on, and Cherie was like, y'all need to get y'all stuff together, right? I was like, and, but I knew, not just Cherie, but there was a number of people that came to our meetings back in the day and said, hey, But what's beautiful about all this right now is that we've all kind of like come together, right? And again, even though every day is not a prize day, we are here still in the moment. And Karen, I want to thank you for your service, because you not only served as president for a number of years and first VP and second VP, but you're still here. Tonight you're at the church. You know, we are closely aligned with faith-based organizations. So thank you for your service. We really appreciate you, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
All right, we're gonna go over to, I don't see Simone yet. If there's someone get in contact with Simone and see if she's all right. We're gonna go to James Younger Esquire, another exec committee member at large. James, the floor is yours. James?
Good evening, everyone.
Okay.
I'm getting an echo.
We can hear you a little bit, James. You all right?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. As a member of the executive committee at large, I viewed my role as one that would assist the president, as well as be involved in various committees when necessary. And also from time to time to be a representative from the NAACP. For example, making recommendations regard to the new chief of police. Also participating in the SRO committee, and with respect to committees, touring the Serrano and providing input to the housing committee. I've been active in criminal justice committee and also the legal redress committee, and at one point taken on the role of committee chair until we got a permanent committee chair. Going forth in the coming year, there are three particular things that I'd like to see happen, which I think would clearly be a benefit to the committee. I mean, entire community. Number one, I think it's great that we now have a citizen oversight committee. However, I think it's important at the front end to get a better recruitment selection process. In other words, a process that might use interactive scenarios to screen out bias, to screen out overreaction or stress, and to select people that have a guardian type mentality, a community oriented type mentality. And I want to work with the Criminal Justice Committee in terms of trying to put forth those things and have the police department make some changes. The second thing I'd like to see, and I also want to work with the committee on this, and that is getting the police department nationally accredited. Right now, they brag about being state accredited. However, national accreditation involves over 440 standards. These standards are based on best practices and they're evidence-based. So I think that would clearly benefit our community in the long run. And then the third thing that I think would benefit our community is having the department move to a strategy of community policing, which involves the entire department as opposed to one specialized unit. So those are the things that I'd like to work with the Criminal Justice Committee on in the coming year. And I think they would ultimately benefit the entire community.
Thank you, James Younger Esquire, for your service to the NAACP that extends many years. I know that having served as a deputy chief of police here in Arlington years ago, you have some institutional knowledge about policing, not only in in and around Virginia, but in other areas where you serve, and your perspective and insight has been quite beneficial to our branch and how we view things in the past and in fact moving forward. So as we stated last night, your recommendations for 2022 are duly noted, and I think we're going to be able to chart a course on many of those areas, working with the Criminal Justice Committee. I will say this, since I'm bringing up criminal justice, and I see that our other at-large member has joined, so I'm gonna go to her next. But just for everyone on the call, so you have an understanding, there are certain things that go on and that we involve ourselves in at the branch in our respective committees, i.e. criminal justice, sometimes even our legal redress, our housing. Sometimes there are issues that are going on that are sensitive in nature. And due to that sensitivity, we're not privileged, of course, to state all the details. We do state as much as possible without subjecting others to putting information out there that's perhaps incorrect or not accurate, but we do our best. And in that area of criminal justice and some of the issues I brought up earlier as it relates to i.e. the jail, right? The deaths and things like that, or anything that goes on. We sometimes have to let them run their course by way of investigation. But rest assured, everyone on this call, our Criminal Justice Committee and James Younger, who's there with them, is rock solid. And so I just want to point that out since you brought that up, and we'll keep moving forward. Our next executive committee at large, and we have three, right? Karen Nightengale, James Younger, they're all elected again, and Simone Walker Esquire, she's with us now. So Simone, I'm going to give you the floor to speak similar to what we did last night to the membership about the end of the year, right? So the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. I'm off camera because I'm out on the road. So I just want to emphasize that I would like, as a branch, for us to be more strategic in terms of what issues we're going to take on and how we're going to advocate for those issues, and not necessarily chase every rabbit down the hole that comes our way. And so I think collectively as an executive committee, that going forward into the new year, that we can perhaps coalesce more around issues that we feel are worth the time and the bang for the buck, because we certainly don't have the bandwidth to pursue every issue that comes our way with the appropriate level of due diligence. And so going forward, that is my hope for the branch, is that we are more selective in what we choose to pursue, and that we don't always just pursue things that are brought to our attention, but that we are intentional in our advocacy. And that's all I will say. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone. And like I said this about some of the members earlier, Simone is just another one, right? Another passionate, forceful, diligent, respected leader in our community who is out there working on behalf of so many families, more especially students. And we want to thank her for her service over the past year and years. And we know the future is very bright at the NAACP. And again, similar to what I said about Sheree, and I can say this about Mike as well, and many others. Rest assured that when they're in a certain space outside of the NAACP, that you're not just going to pull the wool over their head, right? They're going to ask the hard questions. They're going to challenge individuals in our community who aren't used perhaps to being challenged, and they are going to articulate what we want, what we need, what our community wants in a way that's hasn't happened in the past. And again, I know that doing that kind of makes a lot of folks in the county nervous because they haven't seen that before. And that's why I'm so proud, because they have not taken the sideline on no issue that they've been a part of, none of these leaders here. And so that's why we're going to keep pushing. And thank you, Simone, for your service. And I know 2022 is going to be very bright for us. And as we mentioned last night, we do need to look at ways to be more strategic and not just bite on everything that comes the NAACP way. Because even though we have 44 people on the call right now tonight, and I think that's probably the lowest we've had in a number of months, but and that's okay, because it's, you know, maybe because it's not no guest speaker coming, but we have the people here that believe in NAACP. Some probably just couldn't make it. We are going to continue to do what we do, regardless of how many people show up on the call, whether it's just the executive committee or whether it's 30. We're going to do our thing. In 2022, I would just say to the individuals in the NAACP to stand by, because we still have a lot to do, and I think we're going to have a fun ride. With that being said, it's time to go back onto our agenda, and we're going to go to our scholarship committee. Give me just a second. I think I have something here. All right, scholarship committee. This should have been shared with everyone, I believe. This is their committee report. Who's giving the report for the scholarship committee?
I am tonight, Julius. I'm just going to do some highlights, being that I'm not there and everyone else is not available, if you don't mind.
Okay, I see one of your members are here. I think Jill.
Oh, yeah? Jill's on there? Jill can go for it.
Is Jill here? Yeah, Jill is here. I mean, I don't know. You said nobody else in your committee, but Jill is here.
Jill wasn't feeling well earlier.
Okay, go ahead. You got it. So the screen is up.
Okay. I can't read your screen. I'm just going to do something I have here, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. So this particular year, we've been truly excited. We focus on producing a new app. We have a streamlined review and selection process and started our database to track our students. We have target distribution to ensure that we reach each student of color and with need and in need students who embrace and embody the principles of the NAACP. This year, we have distributed about multiple $260K in scholarship funds. Work to better engage students by pairing up with a mentor program. That has been real imperative, that we get the kids as they come in, students as they come in, paired up with mentor program. And we've also given some swag out so that the people will have some NAACP items to show off when they're on campus. We did a virtual orientation and a celebration which engaged the community leaders and the students together. And we work with Amazon to continue our partnership with them as they have identified funding for this particular year. So we have done a lot of things to diversify our funding source. We work with the Britain Foundation and multiple private donations throughout the year. So it's been quite successful, and we're hoping for a better year.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, JD.
Yes.
Can I just add one more thing? I just want to give kudos because for a long time, scholarships was managed by Karen by herself.
Mm-hmm.
So this having extra hands and extra resources has really allowed this committee to do great things for our students. And I just wanted to once again give them thanks, because I think that the story of this committee is one of a really great turnaround story. And I just wanted to express my appreciation for the committee and their hard work.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Cherie, for making note of that. And yeah, I remember those days. We've come a long way. I remember the days of the route, the way Elmer Lowe used to say it, Karen and Rosa, not rifle tickets,
right?
Rifle tickets. And we funded the scholarships by giving out. We're going to give out 10,000 raffle tickets, and I'm like, good Lord, Elmer, is that what we're doing? But we've come a long way, and thank you, Cherie, for pointing that out.
We appreciate it, Cherie.
Yeah, we're going to move on to our comms. Is Leah with us tonight? No. Everyone should have her report. Let me see here. but I'll show this to you. I think it's up. I'll just go. So we finally have, we a few months ago, we brought on our communication chair, and it's still a work in progress. You know, we've done a lot in this past year and so, a year and a half. We've transitioned to a new website. I hope many of you like that. We're still building that out. We intend in 2022 to where some of our committees are, i.e. housing, education, to build, you know, those areas of our webpage out a little bit more, actually put our reports out there. But, you know, that coupled with, you know, MailChimp, marketing, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we have all those accounts now. Our brand logo, which you see here, is the appropriate logo for us from national. And Leah's come on board, and she's been working diligently behind the scenes, I would say, along with some help with a few folks on our executive committee. And I think in the next year or two, especially next year, you will see even some more changes to not only our Facebook, but how we communicate as an organization in the community. Unlike other organizations, we understand that it's not just about sending out an email or putting a post on Facebook. In marketing, there's other aspects to it. So we got to always think about what's appealing, what's, you know, and what drives an individual to hit the click button, but actually what goes a little bit deeper. How we want to bring people to our platform is very important. And Leah and a few others are working on that. But we thank her for her service. All right. Next we have, we're going to go to our, let me find it here. I'm not going to pull it up here. Wanda, do we have, I know we have the housing committees, housing committee chair. Kellen, you can come on, but I thought we had his report.
Well, we don't have his yet.
Okay, cool. Kellen, the floor is yours.
Thanks, JD. For the housing committee, we've had a really active sort of inaugural year. And it's been really exciting to get involved in making sure that the NAACP's views and advocacy efforts on housing resonate throughout the county as well as the Commonwealth. And so as part of that effort, this year we worked to delay Arlington County's draft fair housing plan release by a year to ensure that the county took more time to work with stakeholders like ourselves and other organizations to increase the effectiveness of the fair housing plan and ensure that it actually was going to address the fair housing issues, segregation, and opportunity gaps between residents of color and white residents that exist within Arlington County and that the county's own data was showing, but was not addressed in that plan. So we've been working with the county since then to try to make revisions to that plan for its release next year. And as also part of that effort, we've been working with the Northern Virginia NAACP chapters to advocate for communities of color during the Washington Metropolitan Council of Governments regional analysis of impediments to fair housing choice. That's been happening since this spring. And we also worked with those other branches throughout Northern Virginia to ensure that we had representation on the Community Advisory Committee so that we could help advise all the different localities participating in that analysis from a civil rights perspective and from a true fair housing perspective. So additionally, we worked with Arlington County to add tenant treatment, living conditions, and racial equity criteria to the criteria that governs how affordable housing funds are distributed within the county. So this applies to some of the federal funds from HUD that get distributed locally, as well as the county's affordable housing trust fund money. We worked with the tenants at the Serrano apartments, as well as other advocates to ensure that the county and HC Inc. address the ongoing health and safety and alleged discrimination issues that had been present for the last few years, as well as working with all of those organizations to come up with recommendations to ensure that these issues don't occur in the future, and that our low-income residents who live in affordable housing and subsidized housing have safe and quality housing. We also have been working with Senator Frivola and the Virginia Poverty Law Center to develop legislation for the Virginia General Assembly that would give local governments the authority to sue on behalf of tenants to enforce their tenant rights in court. Currently, especially for low-income tenants, if you believe that your landlord has violated your rights under Virginia law, you have to go to court, find a lawyer, and sue yourself, which is really challenging, especially for immigrants and low-income residents. So this legislation would give local governments the authority to intervene and take on those lawsuits on their behalf, which we think would be very important to sort of leveling the power imbalance that exists right now in Virginia between landlords and tenants. We've developed policy recommendations to empower tenants in Arlington County affordable housing units, reduce evictions, and increase tenant understanding of their rights. And we're exploring, and we continue to explore non-legislative policy options for making policy changes in the state of Virginia, as well as Arlington County, that would further advance civil rights in the housing space, fair housing, and affordable housing. We've developed relationships with other housing advocacy organizations locally across Virginia, county officials, and other NAACP branches in Northern Virginia to increase collaboration on affordable and fair housing advocacy efforts. So I think that's been really significant to build up those relationships so that we're not only that we have a seat at the table when decisions are being made, but also so that we can better coordinate and collaborate to ensure that we're more effective and better serving our communities. And we also, I think, established the Arlington NAACP as a key stakeholder in local housing policy, which I think was very significant because the committee didn't really exist prior to this year. We developed 4 legislative proposals and conducted advocacy with Arlington's General Assembly delegation, the Arlington County Board, and the Virginia State Conference Housing Committee. And I think most importantly, we laid the groundwork for more accomplishments in 2022. So a lot of the work that we've done is ongoing. And I think we've taken a lot of actions and steps to ensure that we can make some real lasting change in 2022. And we're looking forward to that. And that's all I have, JD.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you. Get my video.
Who we have next? Pull up my screen here. I think we have our environmental and climate justice. All right. Do we have your Gabrielle?
Yes. Yeah, it's in the packet.
Okay, hold on.
Page 9. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, hi, everybody. Welcome. It's been a really great year in many ways, ignoring some of the other terrible things. But as far as environment and climate justice is concerned, we are excited to talk about some of the really great things we've done. I'm going to try not to read what's on our packet, but obviously if you have any follow-up questions afterwards, feel free to message me or send me an email. So we did a lot of things this year. We looked at several issues in Arlington County, including the tree canopy, energy and climate, and air pollution and transportation. We've been involved with the creation of various plans, including the forest management plan, as well as the community energy plan implementation framework. Both of these we've commented on in regards to equity, and further iterations of that we will continue to comment on. We have looked at different systems in the county, including the tree canopy fund and the bus fleet with APS, Arlington Public Schools. So we've had some conversations with various stakeholders and leaders involved in this, and we're going to continue to push to see electrification of the bus fleet, as well as a more equitable tree canopy in Arlington County. We also have had 2 series of bird naturalist walks this year. They just keep getting better and better. We're very excited about the different things that we see and the different conversations that we have with our different leaders. We had, very excitingly, the 2nd series incorporated a Hispanic birder. And so she's joining our crew of leaders and has been a really great asset. We also have had just some really great committee members. I want to do a shout out. Thank you to our committee members who may or may not be on the call. You've all been putting in a lot of hard work, and I really appreciate that. We've done some good presentations. We've connected with different organizations, and we have some plans for the upcoming year. So if anyone is interested in seeing what we do, exploring environment and climate justice, our next meeting is going to be on January 9th. We're taking a December break for everyone's state of mind and health. Hopefully everyone can see their families, or at least have a relaxing holiday. And so, yeah, send me a message if you're interested, and I'm going to yield back the rest of my time.
Thank you, Gabrielle, for your hard work and dedication over the past year. It's been phenomenal. I still recall when we first met, like I stated last night, and you're a little bit suspect. You were like, well, JD, is the NAACP for me? I was like, what do you do for a living? I do environmental and climate justice for the government. I said, come on over here. We'll find a place for you to work. But thank you, Gabrielle. I know you have your co-chair. Is she on tonight?
I don't believe she is on. I saw her on a call earlier today.
Great. All right, well, thank you for your service, and we really look forward to 2022. Moving on, I think membership is right now, but since our Keisha is not with us, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you something that we, from last night. Let me pull this up, just so you can get an idea. Just real quick, I said this earlier, shared this last night. This is a membership report from January 25th, 2021, and it showed we had 723 members, total records members in our branch. As of December 11th, which was Saturday, the secretary pulled his report, we had 965 members. So we had a 33.47% increase for this year. We're still a little bit short. But that's okay. We've done great. Again, just having your name on the roster doesn't necessarily mean everything, but we're glad that people have joined our branch. I will say a great Christmas present would be, if you know individuals who aren't members of the NAACP, live in Arlington, maybe a youth, a young child, a school-age student, get them a youth membership to the NAACP. All right, and we're trying our best. We would like to have a youth council in the NAACP, this branch. So what better gift, I think it's $15 a year, than to purchase a youth membership for your child or for a student, and have that student engage with us, and we will help them along the way. And we're trying to stand up a youth council again for this branch and start our activists out young. And it's not just about activists, but there's a lot for them to explore in the realm of the NAACP. We have AXO programs, we have STEM programs. Our education committee is doing a whole lot of work, but we really want to bring some more youth into our branch. Not our old folks like myself just hanging around, but yeah, think about a Christmas present for the youth. All right, think they'll go a long way. So one thing of note, we did go out to the fair this year, right at the tail end when everyone's getting their shots, and we did have an in-person event. We participated with a membership drive. That was successful. We didn't get as many memberships, but we did get some, people came by our table, spoke with us, and that was just as important. All right. Also on community coordination, which is next, I'm going to pass that tonight. I will just tell everyone that may be a committee that we disband for next year. Didn't have the level of engagement that I expected this year happening, so we will most likely disband that committee coming in 2022. All right, next committee, and I can't say enough about this. Megan Brew, do we have your slide?
So I have it, JD.
You can, if you have, you
Yeah.
can. Okay, hold
Share
on.
my screen. Perfect. And wanted just to call out, I emailed this to you, so my apologies with the goof with the attachments. But first off, just want to say what a joy it's been to support the Economic Development Committee this year. Huge shout out to all of our committee members who have supported over the last year. We kicked off as a committee in January, so we're about to hit our 1-year-old birthday here. Largely this year was focused on better understanding the players in economic development across the county and also building our relationships. So we conducted outreach to nonprofit, small business, and local government and banking contacts, over 16 conversations to identify economic development needs across the community and craft our 2021 objectives. Between myself and President Spain, we attended over 15 Arlington Chamber of Commerce events, and we're providing feedback to the Chamber on their approach to equity and inclusion to ensure that that is a space that is inclusive and representative of Arlington businesses. We've attended Arlington Alexandria Workforce Council meetings, Biz Launch Small Business Coordinating Council meetings, met twice with Biz Launch and Arlington Economic Development to influence outreach strategy for the grant pandemic relief funding and discussed opportunities for a revolving loan fund for the second tranche of ARPA funding. We've also had some really good learning opportunities for our committee members. So Dr. Elizabeth Morton from George Mason came and discussed legacy business policy with us. And most recently, Tim Dempsey came and shared a presentation on co-ops. In addition, or probably the most important piece, we conducted outreach to 38 small business owners of color and are in the process of deepening relationships with 13 of those. What I will say, and what is important to this broader audience, is that we've learned a lot about outreach to small business owners. What we've found, both in our own experience and talking to others doing this work, is it takes about 5 phone calls to make contact with a business owner, particularly a small business owner. And we're finding that in-person visits tend to be more effective. While I will say that anyone and everyone who is a member of the NAACP is welcome on the Economic Development Committee. But what we are seeing as a gap in our committee representation are folks who are multilingual and speak languages other than English. So particularly as we continue to build these relationships with small business owners of color, we're looking for folks who can perhaps speak other languages to broaden our reach and deepen our connections. So really excited for the next year to be a little bit more tangible in our work and try to leverage the relationships we've established across this year to continue to push change. That is what I got. President Spain, anything you want to add?
That is what you have. Well, Megan, thank you for your service over the year, past year, you and your committee, and what you talked about as it relates to kind of diversifying our committee, and because representation matters, right?
Mhm.
All right. And we know that's important in the work that we do. And so our outreach to small minority owned businesses and having these conversations with the Northern Virginia Chamber, a Black Chamber, and also with the leadership of the CFED have been very eye-opening, right? To say the least. In full transparency, I'll share this with everyone. Megan and I, we and many others have had, been in some of these conversations, and they've been quite perhaps difficult because I call a spade. And I believe there's a lot more work that can be done in the name of equity, more especially when we're talking about some of these organizations. So as we roll into 2022, we're gonna, have some conversations over with the Arlington Economic Development team. I think we're gonna, speak with some of those leaders and many others, because at the end of the day, I tell folks this: if the individuals in the community that are most affected by policy and issues aren't at the table at inception when some of these policies and issues are being developed, then there's no way at the end of the day it can be equitable. There is no way. So it's important for us to be out there on the front lines trying to articulate, at least to the best of our ability, why certain issues matter as it relates to economic development, even with labor and industry, right? So we are just getting our sea legs. I use that a lot with this committee during the year, but we've accomplished so much. And thank you, Megan, for your diligence and your leadership over the past year. Okay.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure. Yep. All right, we're going to move on. We have Sister Rosa Dunkley on the call. I don't know if the chair said, but Sister Dunkley, do you have any words you want to bring for the Religious Affairs Committee?
No, I don't. I was dependent on my counterpart.
I don't see her yet.
But she's not here. But this year, we have worked hard in trying to get people vaccinated. And we're still working because we know that there's still a lot of work to do because there's still a lot of people that haven't been vaccinated at all. So we'll continue to do that.
Do you have the number? Do you have the number exactly of that y'all had vaccinated?
It was like it was over 11,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was over 11,000 that we had got in touch with and who has had their shots.
Yeah.
But as he was talking, I was thinking about 2022. And I'm thinking next year, I hope that we would be able to at least do a Thanksgiving basket for at least 4 families. It's something to think about during the holidays that we're off. And that crossed my mind just now. So that's something we can think about also.
Yeah. Well, Sister Dunkley, we really appreciate, I know you've been here with us here at the NAACP for a number of years.
Yeah.
And you're not only a stalwart member, but you're also heavily involved with Macedonia Baptist Church. And I know by your leadership and the leadership of Reverend Davis, you were able to touch and affect the lives of 11,000 people in our community and help aid and assist them to get the vaccination. So in that regard, I want to give you and Pastor Davis a round of applause.
Amen. Thank you.
Pastor Davis, as many of you know, is heavily involved in many areas here in Arlington. She's also, of course, the pastor of Callaway United Methodist Church. She led, along with the Rock Springs Congregational Church, I believe that's the name. She and Pastor Kathy Dewar, they led Courageous Conversations this year, which we were a part of, both our education committee, our criminal justice committee, and myself. So, we know you've been out there busy and y'all helped the NAACP get in that space to kind of, speak with others. So thank you for that. And I know in 2022, one of the things we're thinking about or trying to do more of is bring more of those faith-based organizations into the fold with the NAACP and Align. We got in the boat, we're rowing, right? But we need to do a little bit more. And folks are receptive. In fact, there were some emails that came in today from a faith-based organization. So thank you, Sister Dunkley, for your service. And I know even during COVID, you were down a little bit, but you've come around a long way, and I'm so proud of you and proud to know you because I remember what it was like back in the day too now. So thank you for sticking with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, our labor and industry chair is not here. And that's just to let everyone know on this call. I mentioned to the executive committee last night that most likely that committee will be rolled up with economic development for 2022. So when and if that occurs, we will let you know. We're going to move over to our special event / Freedom Fund banquet where our chair, Marvin Nels, are you here, Marvin?
Yes, sir, I am.
All
Hey,
right.
everyone.
Wait, okay, you're here, right? All right, here you go.
Yes.
Did we get your report?
No.
Okay, get to the secretary.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yes, on behalf of the Special Events Committee, I'd like to thank y'all for supporting us throughout the year. We had two major events, the Black History Month event and the Freedom Fund banquet. In 2022, we look forward to having more events and more interactions with other committees. So be on the lookout. Me and the president will put together an email for this upcoming month, January, which is MLK Day. So keep a lookout for your email. And again, thank you all for the support, and I look forward to 2022.
Don't go anywhere, Marvin. I do want to give you a couple Scooby snacks. Thank you for your service and coming on board with the NAACP. I remember my days back in the Pentagon years ago, you and I, when we first met, and I started talking, I was like, oh, yeah, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? I see you still wearing a tie. I'm wearing a t-shirt. But listen, we're happy that you're with us. We thank you for what you've done and what Shayla Smith, I know she's not here with us now, what y'all did to kind of get special events and our Freedom Fund off the moving this year. And more especially your work with the Freedom Fund banquet, which was definitely a great success. I forgot the number exactly. How much did we bring in? Wanda, when it was about 13,000, 14,000, close to 13. So for everyone on this call, I'm gonna tell you right now, you can have a good event and you don't need to charge everybody $60, okay? You need to charge everybody $40. You don't need to charge people $100. This guy right here did it. $25 tickets. We had a few sponsors. I think we had to break even. We need to do what, about $6,000 or $7,000, and we made 13. And it wasn't about really getting, we want to, of course, not be in the red, but people are more receptive. You get more buy-in from the community when you make the costs associated, more especially with virtual events, reasonable. All right. It's not always about the bottom line and trying to make money. You want people to come in and explore the NAACP, your organization, and have a good time. And Marvin, thank you for your leadership on that. You did an amazing job working with our team and with the tech folks out there in the other part of Virginia that was helping us out in the backside. But thank you for your service, and we look forward to many great things with you. And I know that little one that you have is wearing you out, but you look pretty good with a really dark black beard, and I'm trying to figure all that out because and you're laughing, but I'm not going to say anything about you use dye, but you look good, man.
No dye.
All right, thanks, Marvin. Thank you for your leadership. Okay, next we have, let me see here. I'll make sure I'm on point here. We have our education, yes, education committee, and I think we have their report. here. Yes, we do.
Yes, you should have our report, and I won't belabor everyone with the laundry list. If you want to have a more in-depth read, the report's available. But the Education Committee has had a very productive year. We have been working really hard and just focusing on some of the main items in our strategic plan, and beginning to expand into new focus areas as well. So we have spent this year kind of leveraging some of our existing partnerships and also creating new partnerships that further the objectives of the committee as they are stated in the bylaws. So one of our capstone projects of the year is something that has been a couple of years in the making. One of the things when Simone and I started to reconstitute the Education Committee, one of the things that we always wanted to do was be a resource for the community in addition to our advocacy work within the school system. So we have partnered with Sliding Doors STEM and Dyslexia and Virginia Tech University to create the Dyslexic Edge Academy. And the Dyslexic Edge Academy is a tutoring service that provides free structured literacy tutoring for a small cohort of students at Charles Drew Elementary School. We are very proud of this program. We work very hard to get it up and running, and it is coming along. We've still got some building to do, but we understand that the children are already showing some progress. This is specifically for struggling students. They do not have to have dyslexia. They're selected based on their reading performance. We don't get to see any of that documentation, but they're referred to us by the principal. And we've had some tutor training, and so we've got tutors on board. And we are hoping that this program is going to continue to grow and to flourish and hopefully to expand, because the one thing that we know for sure is that literacy is one of the keys to success. And one of the things that APS has not done as well as they could is teach children to read. So we've been advocating for a formal shift to structured literacy, and that is happening. It's a slower process than we'd like, but it is happening. And we're happy to be able to provide these children with a supplement that other families, generally you pay thousands of dollars for this kinds of tutoring. It's twice a week, 90 minutes. It's STEM education along with very, very fundamental reading instruction that's going to help the children to be able to look at a word, sound it out, and be able to understand, the fundamentals of reading. So we're very excited about that. One of the other things that we did that I'm pretty pleased with, and I thought ended up being a very nice event, was we hosted a screening of a documentary by Dr. Monique Morris that's called Push Out: The Criminalization of Black Girls in Schools. And we did that in March, and that was well attended. We had close to 300 participants. We watched the screening, and then we had a facilitated discussion. It drew in people from all over the country. We had NAACP branches from all over the country, and it was just a wonderful conversation. And along those lines, just to plug, on January 28th next year, we're doing a follow-on. We're doing a book talk with Professor Kristen Henning, and her book is called, all right, Simone, help me out here.
It's called The Rage of Innocence: How America Criminalizes Black Youth. And it's actually going to be on the 26th.
Is it the 26th? Okay, January 26th.
It's a Wednesday.
I'm sorry.
It's a Wednesday, yes.
Yes, and so see, that's why we do this together, because together we pull it all all together, it comes together as a unit. But so we would like to invite all of you here to come and learn about this book. If you can read the book ahead of time, come on in. We think that this is one of the issues that particularly impacts Arlington, because we know that in the criminal justice system, the people that are going through, especially our juveniles, are largely Black and Brown. We know that there are some issues with sentencing and how they are sentenced and how they are treated within the system vis-a-vis their white counterparts. And I think this is an important conversation that needs to be continued here in Arlington to ensure that we are moving forward and ensuring that our minority students are treated in ways that are trauma focused, restorative, and that involve equity. So that's one of the other things. In addition, we do a lot of our regular advocacy work where we'll get a call from a family and they'll say, this is what's going on. So one of the things that we worked on this year with APS is the virtual learning program, which was established as a way to enable students who otherwise would not be able to attend school without a vaccination during the pandemic. It gives them an opportunity to be able to participate in school. And the way the program was described, it was going to be seamless. They were going to have access to APS teachers. It was going to be kind of this, wonderful model program that was going to enable them to have this full and rich experience. And that turned out from day one not to be the case. So we've been closely monitoring this situation. And this is something that, like Kellen, a lot of our work kind of goes from year to year. And this is one of the things that, we will definitely be following up with Dr. Duran and his leadership team next month to hear how that's going. So, our work continues with that, as well as helping out other groups who may need our support. So, we'll go in and we'll advocate where issues are, where we're needed. And anything else, Simone? Because we have the report, and I don't want to take too much time if there are other committees who
those are the three big things that have been consuming us. So just a lot of policy reviews and trying to push APS to be more restorative in its student code of conduct handbook, discipline policies, and the SRO MOU. The SRO MOU. Yes.
And I would be remiss and this is the last thing and I'll close out. What we have spent like our first couple of years as a committee really focusing on literacy and advocating for APS to change how they approach their literacy and writing curricula. We are now starting to focus on math as well. So we're starting to build out our math advocacy. We had the APS supervisor for math, Ms. Shannon Ellis, come in and talk with us. So we're all learning more about the opportunities and the pain points in math curriculum in APS. So stay tuned as we dive into that as well. And thank you. I think that's it for us.
Wow. Well, let's give our education committee a round of applause, y'all, because if you didn't look at the report, I know it's in the chat. I mean, just look at their body of work and what's been going on. It's a lot, and this is no work for the weary. And I think when you dive into education, you see that it's not just simply boundaries. Okay, it's not just about buildings, right? There's policy issues relating to education that our team has been focused on, and we understand this. Like this goes all the way back up to the top. The NAACP, our chairman of NAACP, he'll tell us and direct us that we should be a policy-driven, policy-focused organization. Long gone are the days of holding up picket signs. They're great, and marching up and down streets. We are a policy-driven organization. And that's what we focus on. You can see that's where our education committee is at, policy centric. And so we're so proud of them. Thank them for their service. I know we did mention something last night about our first president, and I don't want to put either one of y'all in a situation. If we want to wait on that, but I know the exec committee you brought it up. If you want to use this moment to say anything about it, so people won't be acting like they don't know where the NAACP is headed. It's up to y'all. Cherie, Simone, or no, you can pass.
So now I will just say that
okay.
This NAACP branch was founded by Esther Georgia Irving Cooper over 80 years ago. And she founded the branch specifically on education issues to fight against the segregation in Arlington County Public Schools and the unequal education of Black students in terms of facilities, books, curricula, etc. And so it was her that was the catalyst for the lawsuit against the Arlington School Board in 1954, I believe, Cooper versus Arlington School Board, to force desegregation and equal facilities, opportunities for Black students. It is on her shoulders that we have other education stalwarts stand, such as Dorothy Ham, Alice Fleet, Evelyn Syphax, and others. And so I think we would be remiss as a county to not have a school named for Esther Cooper, because really, without her, none of this would be possible. None of this would be possible. She is the mother of education, equity, and equality in Arlington. And so that's what we would like to see happen as a branch. And so that's what JD is alluding to, but more to come.
Cherie, you were going to add something? Oh.
Yes, I was going to add something because I think it's interesting as we've moved further and further away from Brown v. Board of Education, that the story of how desegregation happened in Arlington is changing to this coalition of the willing. And I think that having Mrs. Cooper Irving as a figure in Arlington County is really important, because that lets us know that this was forced. This was something that was imposed in Arlington. It was not Arlington wants desegregation and we can't have it because the law says so. You know, Arlington was not different from the national context. So I think that she really does represent the idea that there was a struggle that happened. You know, we didn't just all of a sudden become altruistic and decide that Black kids and white kids should go to school together. And I think that we need to make sure that we keep her name in this conversation, because the further we get away, the easier it is to kind of mythologize that process. And we don't want that to happen.
Exactly. Thank you, Cherie, and Simone, for your efforts. And I'm not going to go on. People, was today's December 13th. So you heard it. There's a number of issues that they're taking on, but I feel I'm backing the education committee in their thoughts as it relates to making sure that Ms. Cooper is not forgotten, in whatever shape and form that looks like down the road in Arlington County, more especially in our education system. I think we need to really give that not just high consideration, but do something, right? So thank you, and more to follow on that. Roy Younger has not been able to join. He claims by way of text, I saw him on earlier, that he got revoked, but I don't know how that happened, but that's okay. That's why you have an assistant treasurer. And I actually went upstairs during one of these breaks, and I told Adriana, I said, you need to give the report. She was like, yes, you're the assistant treasurer. So we're going to have the political action committee give their report right now. Then after that, there's a report that I think is already shared, the November report, which the assistant treasurer is going to give We're going to go to our Criminal Justice Committee, and it looks like we're going to finish way ahead of schedule tonight. I'll have some closing remarks. We'll open it up because this is the last meeting, and then that will be it. So our Political Action Committee, Jamie and Megan.
All right, good evening, everyone. Megan and I are going to share our proper formal report online. So thank you, Wanda and JD, for helping with that. But just to add a little variety, we're going to, in lieu of a more formal report, do a 12 days of gratitude toast from the Political Action Committee to the branch. So kind of drawing on a lot of the themes. So our report has more data, numbers, dates, more quantifiable stuff, but we're going to speak a little bit more to the experience of the PAC. So our 12 days of gratitude toast begins with a toast to 12 months of collaboration. Our PAC committee has learned how to collaborate together. Many of us are brand new to the work. We've learned how to collaborate with the entire executive committee, learning from so many experienced leaders and how to collaborate with the Virginia State Conference and the National Conference. So we toast to 12 months of collaboration.
And 11 is for 11 general membership meetings at this branch. So we toast to all of the wonderful knowledge that we've gained about this community and the community that we've built together and all of these general membership meetings. So 11 is for 11 general membership meetings in 2021.
10 is for the 10 PAC meetings that we've held. We warmly welcome any of the general members to our meetings. We've met 10 times, all by Zoom, to work together. Most of the initiatives you'll hear about in 9 through 1, all of us touched in some ways. So we toast to our committee, to each and every member of our committee showing up month after month and doing the work.
And 9 is for 1909, the year the NAACP was founded nationally. So we join a legacy and a tradition in our work here, and we toast to all of the leaders that came before us.
8 is a toast to the number of affordable housing complexes that the Political Action Committee and its troop of volunteers visited for voter registration and voter outreach events. To get into affordable housing complexes to do this kind of work, it takes relationships, commitment, connections, and we particularly toast Detta and Jean Marie for their work organizing and coordinating and doing the important work of voter outreach, particularly in these communities.
7 is the number of voting members on the Civilian Oversight Board, which is an important political change in 2021 that we advocated for, participated in building, and will continue to monitor in the new year.
6 is for the number of candidate questionnaires published by the Political Action Committee this year. We published 1 for our county board candidates, 1 for our school board candidates, and 4 separate voter candidate questionnaires for each of the House of Delegates races. And in each of those went in so much work and rigor from our committee members, and also collaboration with the entire executive committee, working to build strong substantive questions to hold our candidates accountable through into their elected terms.
5 is for 55 cents, which is the cost of a stamp. We sent hundreds of voter postcards out throughout the state and 1,000 right here in Arlington County. And this involved coordinating with other organizations, as well as almost every member of the Political Action Committee, several throughout the branch, and partnerships with a local church, thanks to Pastor Davis.
4 is gratitude for all that we stand for. We as a Political Action Committee are deeply committed to the work of building fair, equitable, accessible, and inclusive political systems and processes. And we are committed to continuing that work in 2022. So 4 is all that we stand for.
3 is the number of candidate forums that we held this year, 1 ahead of the primaries and caucus, and 2 before the general election, 1 focused on county level, so that was the county board and the school board, and 1 focused at the state level, which included all 4 delegate races. So we toast our moderators, our planners, our timekeepers, our chat monitors, and our whole committee for these impactful events and all the hard work that went into making them happen.
2, we toast our 2 inaugural Political Action Committee interns for all the work that they produced, all of the ways they expanded our impact and built so many of the other things we're describing and deepened our research. Also to the general membership and so many on this call tonight who donated their resources to make sure it was a properly funded intern. And so we're grateful to the whole executive committee for supporting these interns. As we can see, picking up any news cycle, we need to build a next generation of advocates. So we're really proud of launching that program and grateful for everyone's support.
And we've cheated a little here at the end. We actually have 2 toasts for the number 1. So first of all, we toast to our 1 legislative scorecard that we published, and all that it was reflected in how much work went into that behind the scenes. It took a lot of people in our branch as well as our interns. And it's holding our political leadership accountable, which is exactly what we should be doing. And finally, 1 is also for 1 team, 1 fight. We have got a lot of work to do, so I hope you all enjoy a very restful and beautiful holiday season, and we'll all get back to it in 2022. And that's the Political Action Committee report for this year.
Wow. I think, you know, the second VP had a comment up here earlier, and I was like, it was amazing. And she didn't use the word, but she saw something. She was like, thumbs up. I mean, this was fun. Thank you, Jamie and Megan. Wow, for all the work you've done. And I like the presence of not just thought, but how it's team, right? And you've involved us, you've involved the executive committee, but at the same time, you both have gone out there and challenged folks, and the quality of your work, your products are far beyond anything that I've seen or witnessed. Well, I put that outside, you know, you're in the education committee, y'all like time, but some very good products, and it's respectful. You are respected in this community. I look forward to 2022. I remember, you know, Jamie, you and I go back Megan, a few years, just knowing each other basically. That was just not really working together, but knew of you. And I remember seeing your name come in about wanting to know more about the NAACP. And we sent out something, you said you want to get involved with political action. And then Jamie, about the same time, was like, you know, she was part of the political action committee, but was, you know, a little hesitant to take on the full-time position of chair. And I said, well, let's marry them both up. And the both of you have been working in tandem, harmoniously, and it's been a beauty to watch. So thank you for your service. Be safe over the holidays, and I know 2022 is going to be a bang. I mean, thank you. Okay, that was a great report. It was actually fun. All right, I'm going to go back to, I don't think Roy's with us, but I'm going to go back up to the finance report. I know, let me see if I can find it here for November. Okay. Assistant Treasurer, are you on? Hello?
I am here.
Okay, I know your treasurer isn't here, but this is his report. You want to go through this report for the
Sure.
for November?
Yes, it's not fair that I have to follow behind Megan and Jamie, you know, with that fun report and all the amazing reports that have been done already. And I have to do this boring report, but it will be brief. So for November, the financial report is as follows. We had a beginning balance of $18,954.31. We had a deposit of $5,077.50 with a subtotal of $24,031.81. And then we had expenditures or withdrawals totaling $2,121.64. And with ending with a balance in our checking account of $21,910.17. on the business savings account, we have a balance of $181,841.39. The total balance at the end of November for the branch is $203,751.56. And that is the November report.
Well, thank you, Madam Assistant Treasurer, for that report. You did quite well.
You're welcome. I know this is not, it's not fair.
No, no, Roy, I don't know what happened with Roy.
No, Adriana, you got to sing something now, a Christmas carol, just to keep up with me.
There you go. There you go. Where's she at? Adriana, you need to sing.
Oh, you don't want me to sing. I am a horrible singer.
You can sing us a little something in Espanol, please. Well, or it doesn't matter, please. A little something.
Yeah, we all sing. Feliz Navidad.
All right. Thank you, Adriana.
You're welcome.
Any questions about the report? We're just going to receive the report because that particular report has not been presented to the executive committee. So we're going to receive that report, and I will just say this much. We are as the executive committee, we take seriously the fiduciary responsibility that we have of the members and the money in this branch. And we know that our system and process by which we account for our money and kind of show this to you can be enhanced greatly. We want to move away from Excel files are okay, but we're looking at ways to enhance this in 2022, not only for your pleasure, but also for our executive committee. All right, we need to, monthly reports are great, but we also need to see running reports as it relates to the approved budget that we're going to bring to you in February, right? So we've accounted for the money. We have to give a report to the state conference and to national here no later than March 31st. But I just want to share that with you just to let you know, though you have a report here and there's nothing wrong with it, it can improve and it will improve. And we're looking at ways to do that and work with the treasurer and the assistant treasurer. So this has been a long road. There's some learning curves, but we're going to get it and enhance it again and make it better. That's the challenge for those individuals in the office. That's the request of the executive committee. So anything less will be uncivilized. So we have to do that. And that's important because, again, that's a large amount of money that we have. Back to Rose and all, y'all remember back in the day, not to bring up old days when we had $1,000 in the account, but we have work to do there. With that being said, I believe, is it criminal justice next? Is it criminal justice next, I believe?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Wanda, you're there. Thank you. Heather.
Well, I didn't know we were supposed to sing our year-end report. So I'm just gonna say Silent Night and call it a
long as your puppy doesn't snore again like he did last
put him out. But so I guess I can wish us a Merry Justice. But I want to just give a couple of comments about, that was such an amazing presentation by Political Action Committee, but it's actually an incredible presentation by every single committee chair this evening. Just hats off to everyone in this organization, all of the leadership in this organization. I want to particularly thank, I'm late to the chair position for the Criminal Justice Committee. Most of the heavy lifting, or very much of the heavy lifting, had already been done by the time I came on the scene in May as a committee member. I want to give particular credit to Chairman Kent Carter, who was the chair of the committee until he got swallowed whole by the heavy lifting and hard work that he put in as a member of the police practices group committee, which was months and months of work, meetings, drafts, reviewing best practices from across the country for community oversight of policing in other jurisdictions around the country. The work he did was extraordinary. It is something that the committee, the executive committee, that the Arlington branch and the entirety of Arlington County is indebted to him for the work that he put in there. The committee also participated, members of the committee, I want to thank particularly Mike Hemminger, who gives incredible voice to the concerns of our committee, our branch, and our community at meetings, during calls, during Zoom calls, at hearings and beyond. And I know he's busy participating in justice issues that I'm not always aware of. I want to thank James Younger, who is just an incredible and valuable resource to our committee and to our branch. His experience in law enforcement is absolutely critical to informing a lot of what our committee does in advocating on behalf of members of our branch and our community. Peter Hansen, who has drafted letters and analyzed draft ordinances with the eye of a legal scholar, because he is. Peter has the hours I know he has put in beyond just participating in meetings with county board members, the county board chair, Arlington County Police Department delegation, Arlington delegation to the General Assembly. It is just an extraordinary amount of work with a benefit that cannot be overstated. He's back. The snoring dog is back. So we've got the committee, with Peter's help in particular, we drafted, marked up the ordinance that was advertised in May and re-advertised. Members of the committee participated in hearings, on the public hearings, and did a lot of work to push for our voice, our organization's voice to be heard in how Arlington County is policed. So while we didn't get everything we wanted in the Community Oversight Board ordinance, we did get heard. We did get some of what we wanted, and we're going to be keeping a hand in the process as we go forward. And what I would like to say about our committee is that we show up and we speak up and we follow up. We're going to keep doing that. We're going to move forward into 2022, pressing for accountability for what has been, and building connections between the community, the Arlington County Police Department, the Sheriff's Office, the Commonwealth Attorney, to foster what we can be together for a more just Arlington. And I'm grateful to be part of this committee and have this opportunity to work with all of you fine people.
Heather, Esquire. Thank you. So enough, similar to what our education committee has done, and many other committees, political action, all of them actually, all the committees. The Criminal Justice Committee has really been involved. I appreciate, Heather, you bringing up First VP Kent Carter, because I remember when we had the conversation about who's going to go over there and serve and work on the volunteer, at least put a name in the hat. He, along with James Younger, and I think a few others, I think Cherie, well, a few others worked on that community oversight board at the tail end. But that was a lot of work. And what was most revealing about that whole process was, despite, the recommendations, right? We talked community oversight board of individuals who were chosen by county to be on the board, despite their recommendation, the level of hesitation and reluctancy to take those recommendations and implement them, right? So there was still some persuasion that needed to take place for whatever reason, I don't know. But that just tells you, and if you haven't been involved in some of those type of discussions or sat on those boards or work groups, we're not down with just doing performative things, right? When we come to the table and we make recommendations based off of data-driven recommendations and records, right? We expect you to look at that and say, okay, yeah, we've done this. We don't want to go down that road again. We need subpoena power here in Arlington, right? We need this community oversight board to be reflective and representative of the community, right? We don't need a whole bunch of lawyers, well-connected folks sitting on the community oversight board. And we'll be watching that. But I'm glad we are at the point that we're at. And Heather, I know you've been on about 2 months. I'll share this with everyone. Heather sent me a text message last night after the exec committee meeting and said, am I still on the committee? I was like, wait, I think you, and I said, yes, Heather, you're on until December 30th, 2022. And she said,
I said, does my term end on at 11:59 on December 31?
I said, no worries, you don't have to worry about it. You're on. And then she sent back another image with a Smurf or somebody sitting on the table.
No, Kermit.
Kermit was dancing or something. So we're happy to have you and your team. That committee is working on some sensitive issues right now, y'all. Of course, she didn't go into all the details because a lot of it is still under investigation or ongoing investigation. But just to let you know, we're still monitoring the death of inmates. The two in particular, and really, those two inmates, one in October 2020, October 2021, and I'll tell everyone on this call, it doesn't stop there, right? We're gonna we need to find out more, right? And I believe when we talk about transparency and accountability, don't just use them as buzzwords, because I still don't believe the right level of accountability is taking place as it relates to all of these deaths. The fact remains, at the end of the day, we have people of color. Well, I'll let the records reflect. There was one person who was Caucasian, but that's not what the record, that's what the records say. All men under 55, 50, Black, dead. They're not coming back. Their family's not going to see them again. And we need to find out what happened. So if there were systemic issues or problems there, it is what it is. But we're just getting started. We're working with all parties. We're open to speaking with all parties.
JD,
who is that?
Ron.
Hold on a second, Ron. Hold on a second, brother.
The topic, I have some information about that.
Okay, that's cool. But please,
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, that's all. That's both fine. I know you for a while, Ron. You over here in my neighborhood, but please, you came in pretty loud just now, Ron. I didn't know what was going on. Cherie, I was about to give out some Mac right. I was like, hold up. But go ahead, Ron. You have something to say? All right, well, hold on, Heather. Thank you for your report. You did amazingly well. We're going to be ahead of time and schedule tonight. Thank you. We look forward to your work in the committee in 2022. Thank you.
Am I too loud now, JD? My mic's too loud.
Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you said it 3 times, and I do have information about what you talk about the jail thing. So we need to talk about offline with you and Mike tomorrow. Okay?
And Heather.
Yeah, and Heather. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll talk about that. We're in a general membership.
It's complicated, so.
Yeah. We're in a general membership meeting right now, Ron.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, thanks.
You have my number. You know how to reach me. Okay. Thank you, Ron. Representing over from the Civ Fed. I know you don't represent the Civ Fed. That's Alan, but I know that's where you spend a lot of your time. All right. Okay. Listen, y'all. It is Ron. Let me get you all spotlight. You may think you're in charge. What's that thing behind you, man? Is that Arlington? Okay. Let me get myself all spotlight because I'm done. We all be here together. Listen, everyone. I want to reach out to Jill real quick. I know she's been on the call. Thank you. Jill is there somewhere. I think she's under the weather. We did by the way. I see Christina Armstrong here with Bridges from Bridges to Independence. Even though Sam Kelly's not here, she's the head of part of her community outreach and philanthropy there. Christina, thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for all that you do over there at Bridges to Independence. And you have anything you want to say?
Just a big thank you, everyone, for recognizing Bridges to Independence and our partnership and our work together. We look forward to collaborating more as the year goes forward.
We do as well. Thank you for all that you do over there, and give everyone and Sam our regards. Sam Kelly, big Sam Kelly, our regards. Okay. All right.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right. Well, guess what? I'll stick around for 15 minutes, but it's 8:56, and I know everyone on the team, it's been a while since we ended on time, but we're actually going to end on time tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you who stuck around for this call. Thank you for your service over the past year and helping out the NAACP. For Christmas, again, go out and get a couple of you some memberships, renew your membership, or purchase a Silver Life membership, right? And as we move forward in 2022, if you want to get involved with the NAACP more, reach out to our secretary, reach out to our committee chairs, let them know what your interests are, and we'll see if we can help you out. These committees are not committees for you to come in, for anyone to come in and play peekaboo. All right. And I mean peekaboo in the sense that don't just come to the committee to gather information and then go out. We want you to come in and do some work. All right. And we mean that. I say that because I'm only speaking truth to power. We have had, individuals that come to the branch and they come and they want to sit in the committees and listen to what's going on, but they don't want to do any work. They don't want to do any work. All right. So we need workers. We need people to volunteer, and we'll appreciate that. If you want to come and just listen in and you get the permission of the chair from that committee, depending on the topic, then that's on the chair. But, we have work to do and we can use your help. With that being said, the time is now 8:58 p.m. and the meeting is adjourned. I will be on for another 15 minutes. Thank you and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, Hanukkah, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. Good night, everyone.
Same to all of you.